Right now, there's a motorcycle sitting in a dealership showroom with a price tag so low, the salesman is embarrassed to show it to you. I'm talking about an $18,000 superbike marked down to $9,500, and it's been gathering dust for 8 months straight. Last week, I walked into 3 different dealerships across 2 states, and what I discovered will change how you think about motorcycle buying forever. Rows of brand new Japanese motorcycles, bikes that should be flying off showroom floors, just sitting there like automotive orphans nobody wants to adopt. But here's where it gets crazy. These aren't junk bikes or forgotten models from decades past. I'm talking about legendary machines from Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki. Bikes that were supposed to be the next big thing, but something went terribly wrong. But here's the thing. These deals won't last much longer. Manufacturers are already cutting production. And once this inventory is gone, you'll never see prices like this again. I recently talked to Mike, a dealer in Colorado who's been selling motorcycles for 25 years. He told me something that shocked me. I've got bikes on my floor that are better engineered and more reliable than anything we sold in the 90s, but I can't give them away. The market has completely changed, and we're sitting on millions of dollars of inventory that nobody wants. This isn't just happening at one dealership. It's industry-wide. From coast to coast, dealers are facing the same problem. Incredible motorcycles that are perfectly engineered for a world that no longer exists. But here's what makes this opportunity so incredible for buyers who know what to look for. These aren't bad motorcycles. They're just misunderstood, mistimed, or marketed to the wrong audience. And right now, that's creating the buying opportunity of a lifetime. I'm standing in a Kawasaki dealership in Phoenix, Arizona, staring at a row of 7 Vulcan S models that haven't moved in 18 months. The sales manager, Dave, walks over and just shakes his head. See those bikes? Every single one of them should have sold by now. Great bikes, wrong timing. The Vulcan S was Kawasaki's attempt to revolutionize the cruiser market. Take the proven 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine from the Ninja 650, wrap it in cruiser styling, and boom. Instant success, right? On paper, it made perfect sense. The bike produces 61 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque, weighs just 498 pounds, and features Kawasaki's clever Ergo Fit system that lets you customize the ergonomics. But here's where Kawasaki completely misread the market. Cruiser buyers aren't looking for efficiency and modern engineering. They want soul. They want that deep rumbling V-twin that shakes the bike at idle and announces your arrival 3 blocks away. The Vulcan S, with its smooth, refined parallel twin, felt more like a sport bike in cruiser clothing. Dave pulls out his inventory sheet and shows me the numbers. "We've tried everything," he says. Free saddlebags, extended warranties. Even threw in a $500 gift card for accessories. These bikes are priced at $7,399, but I'm authorized to go as low as $5,900 just to move them. That's $1,500 off MSRP, plus another $800 in free accessories, for a brand new motorcycle with a full warranty. But here's the irony. If you're not a traditional cruiser buyer, the Vulcan S is actually an incredible machine. It's comfortable, reliable, fuel efficient, and perfect for newer riders who want the cruiser look without the intimidating weight and maintenance of a big V-twin. The real kicker? 3 months ago, a guy from California drove all the way to Phoenix just to buy one of these Vulcan S models at Dave's discounted price. He'd done his research and realized he was getting a $7,400 motorcycle for under $6,000. But if you think a modern cruiser struggling to find buyers is surprising, wait until you see what happened to one of the most legendary speed machines ever created. 2 weeks ago, I'm sitting in a Suzuki dealership in Atlanta, and the owner, Frank, points to a corner where 3 brand new Hayabusas are parked. "You see those bikes?" he says. "Those are 18,500 motorcycles that I'll sell you right now for 13,000, and I'm still not making any money on them." This is the Suzuki Hayabusa we're talking about. The bike that literally forced manufacturers to agree on a 186 miles per hour speed limit because it was too fast for public roads. When it first hit the streets in 1999, it was a cultural phenomenon, the ultimate speed machine that could hit 200 miles per hour and make it look effortless. The current generation still packs that legendary 1,340 cubic centimeter inline 4 engine, producing 187 horsepower and 110 pound-feet of torque. It'll rocket from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds and cruise at triple-digit speeds like you're driving to the grocery store. On paper, it's still one of the most capable motorcycles ever built. But Frank's problem isn't the bike's performance, it's everything else. Insurance companies treat these things like guided missiles, he tells me. A 25-year-old with a clean record is looking at $400 a month just for coverage. Then you've got maintenance costs, tire replacement every 5,000 miles, and premium fuel requirements. I watch as a young rider walks over to look at the Hayabusa, sits on it for about 30 seconds, then immediately walks away when Frank mentions the insurance costs. This happens 3 times while I'm there. The market has shifted dramatically. 20 years ago, bragging rights about top speed mattered. Today's riders want versatility. Bikes that can handle daily commutes, weekend trips, and twisty roads without burning through their paycheck in operating costs. Frank shows me his incentive sheet. Suzuki is offering $5,500 in rebates. He's throwing in free maintenance for 2 years, and he'll include a full set of luggage and a tank bag. I'm basically selling these at cost, he admits, but I need the floor space for bikes that actually move. The crazy part? If you've always dreamed of owning the fastest production motorcycle ever made, this might be your only chance to get one at these prices. Frank tells me Suzuki is cutting Hayabusa production by 60% next year. But if you thought the Hayabusa's fall from grace was shocking, just wait until you meet Honda's attempt at building the motorcycle of the future. I'm standing in a Honda dealership in Denver, staring at what might be the most confusing motorcycle ever built. The Honda DN01 looks like it was designed by a committee of engineers who couldn't agree on what they were building. Is it a cruiser, a sport bike, a scooter? Even the salesman, Tom, seems puzzled by it. Honda spent millions developing this thing, Tom tells me, running his hand along the DN01's bizarre bodywork. It was supposed to be revolutionary, a bike that combined the comfort of a cruiser, the handling of a sport bike, and the convenience of an automatic transmission. The DN01 packs a 680 cubic centimeter V-twin engine producing 61 horsepower, paired with Honda's human-friendly transmission. Basically a continuously variable transmission automatic that eliminates the need for shifting. The idea was brilliant. Create a motorcycle that anyone could ride, regardless of their experience with manual transmissions. But Tom's been trying to sell the same 3DN01s for over 2 years. The problem is, nobody knows what to do with it, he explains. Cruiser guys hate the automatic transmission. They want to feel connected to the bike through the clutch and gears. Sport bike riders think it's too heavy and weird looking, and new riders are intimidated by the size and unconventional design. Then there's the price. When the DN01 launched, Honda had the audacity to ask $15,599 for it. That put it in Goldwing territory without the Goldwing's reputation or touring capability. Tom pulls out his calculator and shows me the current deal. Corporate told me to move these at any price, he says. I can do $8,500 out the door, and I'll throw in a helmet, jacket, and 2 years of free service. That's a $7,000 discount on a brand new Honda with full warranty. The bike has 12 miles on the odometer, just enough for the dealer prep. Here's the thing about the DN01. If you can get past its bizarre looks and accept it for what it is, it's actually a fantastic daily rider. Smooth, comfortable, reliable, and guaranteed to start conversations wherever you park it. Honda took a massive risk trying to reinvent the motorcycle. And while it didn't work commercially, the engineering is actually brilliant. But Honda's willingness to experiment didn't end there. Their next attempt at market disruption was even more puzzling. I'm in a Honda dealership outside Dallas, looking at a bike that represents everything wrong with focus group design. The Honda CTX1000 sits there like a motorcycle designed by committee, technically competent but completely soulless. The dealer, Sarah, walks over and sighs. This bike should have been a home run, she says. Honda built it specifically for baby boomers who wanted to get back into riding but didn't want the complexity of a traditional motorcycle. The CTX1000 features a 670 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine producing 48 horsepower, paired with Honda's dual clutch automatic transmission. No clutch lever, no gear shifting, just twist and go. The riding position is relaxed, the seat height is low at 28.3 inches, and the maintenance requirements are minimal. On paper, it checked every box, Sarah continues. Comfortable, reliable, easy to ride, good fuel economy. We thought it would be perfect for older riders getting back into motorcycling, or new riders who were intimidated by manual transmissions. But Sarah's been staring at the same 4 CTX700s for 18 months. The problem? The bike has no personality whatsoever. It doesn't look like a cruiser, doesn't perform like a sport bike, and doesn't tour like an adventure bike. It's transportation, nothing more. Motorcycle riders are emotional buyers, Sarah explains. They want something that stirs their soul, makes them feel alive. The CTX700 is like riding a very efficient appliance. The automatic transmission, which should have been a selling point, actually worked against it. Experienced riders felt disconnected from the machine, while new riders worried they weren't learning real motorcycling skills. Sarah shows me Honda's latest incentive package. "I can sell you this bike for $5,200, she says. "That's $2,500 off MSRP, plus I'll include saddlebags, a windscreen, and 3 years of extended warranty." She pauses and looks at the CTX700. "You know what's crazy? This is actually a great bike for commuting or touring. It's just boring, and boring doesn't sell motorcycles." The irony is that Honda built exactly what they thought the market wanted: a practical, reliable, easy-to-ride motorcycle. They just forgot that people don't buy motorcycles for practical reasons. But if Honda's attempt at building the perfect practical bike failed, wait until you see what happened when they tried to build something completely impractical. I'm walking through a Yamaha dealership in Seattle, and the service manager, Rick, stops me in front of 3 identical FJ09s that look like they've never been moved. "See those bikes?" he says. "Those represent everything wrong with motorcycle marketing in the 2010s. The FJ09 was Yamaha's attempt to create the perfect sport touring motorcycle. Take the aggressive 847 cubic centimeter inline 3 engine from the MT09, producing 115 horsepower and 65 pound-feet of torque. Wrap it in touring bodywork, add some wind protection, and call it a day. The concept made sense. Give riders the excitement of a naked bike with the practicality needed for longer rides. When these first came in, I thought we'd sell them as fast as we could get them," Rick tells me, running his hand along the FJ09's fairing. "Sport touring is supposed to be the sweet spot. Performance when you want it, comfort when you need it." But Rick learned the hard way that compromise doesn't always work in motorcycles. The FJ09's aggressive engine character made it too buzzy and uncomfortable for serious touring, while the upright seating position and touring focus made it feel neutered compared to the raw MT09 it was based on. "Sport bike guys would test ride it and say it felt too tame," Rick explains. "Touring guys would take it out and come back complaining about the vibration and firm seat. We couldn't win." The wind protection was another issue. The stock windscreen was too low for highway comfort, but too high for aggressive riding. Riders either had to deal with buffeting or spend another $300 on an aftermarket screen. Rick pulls out his phone and shows me the sales numbers. We sold maybe 6 of these in 2 years. Meanwhile, the MT09 next to it flies off the floor. Now, Yamaha is desperate to move them. Rick shows me the current deal: $7,500 for a bike that originally stickered at $10,490. That's nearly $3,000 off, plus Yamaha is throwing in a touring package worth $800. Upgraded windscreen, heated grips, and hard cases. The crazy thing is, if you can live with its quirks, it's actually a fantastic bike, Rick admits. The engine is incredible, the handling is sharp, and it'll eat up highway miles. It just doesn't excel at any one thing enough to justify choosing it over more focused alternatives. The FJ09 represents the danger of trying to be everything to everyone. Sometimes the best bike is the one that does one thing exceptionally well, not the one that does everything adequately. But if Yamaha's compromise approach failed, wait until you see what happened when Kawasaki built a bike that was too good at everything. I'm standing next to what might be the most capable motorcycle nobody wants to buy. The Kawasaki Concourse 14 sits in a dealership in Phoenix like a technological marvel that time forgot. The sales manager, Carlos, pats the bike's tank and shakes his head. This thing will do 150 miles per hour all day long, carry 2 people and luggage across the country, and still have enough power left over to embarrass sport bikes in the canyons, Carlos tells me. But I can't give them away. Riders today want versatility and ease of use, Carlos says. They're buying adventure bikes that weigh 100 pounds less and are easier to handle around town. The Concourse is like bringing a Formula One car to a go-kart track. The price doesn't help either. At $15,999 new, the Concourse 14 competes with bikes that offer more modern technology and better fuel economy. Riders can get a BMW R1250RS or Yamaha Tracer 9 GT for similar money with updated electronics and lighter weight. Carlos shows me Kawasaki's Desperation package, $4,200 off MSRP, bringing the price down to $11,799, plus free installation of a $1,200 accessory package, including GPS mount, tank bag, and upgraded seat. I had a guy from Canada drive down here last month just to buy one at this price, Carlos tells me. He understood what he was getting, a high-speed missile disguised as a touring bike, but most people just see a big, heavy, expensive motorcycle. The Concourse 14 remains one of the fastest, most capable touring bikes ever built. It's just a relic from an era when bigger was always better. But if being too capable was the Concourse 14's problem, the next bike suffered from the opposite issue. I'm in a Suzuki dealership in Orlando looking at a bike that should have been a slam dunk, but somehow missed the target entirely. The GSX1000F sits there like a confused teenager, not sure if it wants to be sporty or practical, aggressive or comfortable. The dealer, Mike, walks over and immediately starts apologizing for the bike. This thing has been here for 14 months, he says. It's a great motorcycle, but nobody can figure out what it's supposed to be. The GSX1000F packs a serious punch. A 999 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine producing 148 horsepower and 78 pound-feet of torque, borrowed from the GSX R1000 superbike. It's wrapped in a semi-fairing that gives it a sporty appearance while providing some wind protection. Suzuki positioned it as a sport touring bike for riders who wanted performance with practicality. The engine is incredible, Mike explains, starting the bike so I can hear it. It sounds like a race bike and has power everywhere in the rev range. The handling is sharp, the brakes are excellent, and the build quality is typical Suzuki, bulletproof. Mike shows me the current incentive package. Suzuki is offering $3,500 off the $13,149 MSRP, bringing it down to $9,649. Plus, Mike will throw in a full Yoshimura exhaust system worth $800 and free installation. At this price, it's honestly one of the best performance bargains on the market, Mike admits. You're getting superbike performance for naked bike money, but people buy with their emotions, and this bike doesn't trigger any strong feelings. The GSX1000F represents the challenge of building a compromise bike in a market that rewards specialization. Sometimes being good at everything means being great at nothing. But if Suzuki's identity crisis was confusing, wait until you see Honda's attempt at building a bike that was supposed to be simple. I'm in a Honda dealership in Austin, Texas, staring at something that shouldn't exist. Brand new 2019 Honda Groms still sitting on the showroom floor in 2025. The sales associate, Jessica, notices my confusion and walks over with a knowing smile. "Yeah, I know what you're thinking," she says. "How are these still here?" The Grom was supposed to be the bike that got everyone excited about motorcycles again. When Honda introduced the Grom in 2014, it was an instant sensation. This tiny 125 cubic centimeter motorcycle, with its 9 horsepower single-cylinder engine and 227 pounds weight, was pure fun on 2 wheels. Priced at just $3,599, it was affordable, approachable, and absolutely addictive in urban environments. For about 3 years, we couldn't keep them in stock, Jessica explains. But the novelty wore off, and Honda kept improving the bike, making these older versions feel outdated. The Grom's limitations became apparent as the initial excitement faded. Highway riding is impossible, two-up riding is a joke, and cargo capacity is non-existent. It's a toy, not transportation. We've had these marked down from $3,599 to $2,400, Jessica tells me. That's over $1,000 off for a brand new motorcycle. I'll even throw in a helmet and gloves. I'm standing in front of what might be the last street-legal Yamaha R6 I'll ever see in a dealership. The bike sits in a Yamaha showroom in Las Vegas like a museum piece. Beautiful, legendary, and completely unwanted by today's market. The service manager, Tony, walks over, and his expression is almost mournful. "This is the end of an era," he says. 25 years of the most perfect 600cc supersport ever built, and nobody wants the last ones. The R6's uncompromising nature became its downfall. The aggressive riding position made commuting torture. The high-strung engine needed constant maintenance. Insurance companies treated it like a guided missile. Young riders today want naked bikes like the MT-07, Tony continues. Same performance, more comfortable, cheaper to insure and maintain. Tony shows me the numbers. This bike's stickered at $12,199. I'm authorized to sell it for $8,500, and Yamaha will throw in a free track day package worth $500. That's nearly $4,000 off for what might be the last street-legal R6 ever sold. I'm in a Suzuki dealership in Tampa, Florida, staring at the most forgettable motorcycle ever built. The Boulevard C50 sits there like the automotive equivalent of beige paint, technically competent but completely devoid of personality. The owner, Frank, doesn't even try to hide his frustration. "I've had these same 3 bikes for over 2 years, he says. They're good motorcycles, reliable, comfortable, well-built, but they're just boring. The problem is, nobody gets excited about a Boulevard," Frank explains. "When someone walks in wanting a cruiser, they're dreaming about a Harley or an Indian." Frank pulls out his calculator. "I'll sell you this bike for $6,000, he says. "That's $3,299 off the $9,299 MSRP. I'll throw in saddlebags, a windshield, extended warranty, and free maintenance for 2 years. The Boulevard C50 represents everything wrong with building motorcycles by committee. It checks all the boxes, but fails to capture any hearts. Here's the truth about these deals. They won't last much longer. Manufacturers are already cutting production on most of these models, and once this inventory is gone, you'll never see prices like this again."